someone asked a question about how to put your best feet forward. Again, this is just like a repetition of myself. While you're an undergrad, you should try as much as possible to get good grades, win prizes and awards and scholarship, participate in internships, have very good thesis or your project, your final year project, and have publications. The point is, just imagine that someone does not know you before, and they're trying to judge how much their money will be worth if they invest this scholarship money on you. So the only way you can convince them is, oh, at least other guys have invested this much money on me before. So yeah, you should be quite convinced. Oh, I was disciplined enough to have published one, two, publications. So I'm worth your investment. Oh yeah, I'm responsible enough to have volunteered in this with this organization, or to have volunteered in this project or something. Yeah. So the point is just for you to build a strong profile. And of course, post university also, there are a lot of things you can also do. You can build relevant work experience. In my own case, I worked for 3 years after my first degree. I worked for 3 years, and I worked in a lot of field. I worked in the diagnostics field. I work as a field epidemiologist. I worked as a clinician. So I did so many things that are relevant to at least my scholarships, and of course also take online courses that would make you learn new things and also keep developing yourself and also keep building your CV. Attend conferences, also very nice, relevant conferences, and now it's also very beneficiary to learn technical skills. So in retrospect, if there's an advice I wish someone had given me, so I have like 5 more minutes to talk before I stop talking. So if there is like an advice I wish someone had given me before I started applying for scholarship, it would be this actually, that I should learn technical skills like data analytics or basic programming or advanced data statistics. Because when I started my master's program and we started doing like basic programming, people that had a background before in their bachelor's, or they learned on their own, they were able to like adapt easily. Unlike someone like me that I have zero knowledge in programming, so it was extremely difficult. So I'm not just dealing with a lot of documents and materials to study. I'm also trying to learn a new software, so to say. All right. So it's also always very good to learn the basics of data analytics, and even if it's not advanced, just enough for you to be able to catch up in class and co. So it's also very nice. And to this end, there are a lot of online courses that just treats like at the beginner's level to learn to gain all these technical skills. Yeah. So now more tips for application. After you've built all this nice experience, all this nice profile, the next thing is for you to present it in your motivation letter or your cover letter or something, depending on what the scholarship is requesting of you. And one way you can do this is to write in a very excellent manner, right? And to give yourself a good perspective of what you're writing about, it's always very nice to see winning essays, like essays that I've won before, and you have sample of those essays. And one way is for you to reach out to previous scholars. But of course, most time people will not share their essays with you because of plagiarism and all. But I can assure you that online, there are a lot of resources online that gives you an idea of what a winning essay looks like. And another easier way is to share your writing with a previous awardee or a mentor, if you have one, so they look through it for you and kind of tell you, oh, I think this should be structured this way. Oh, I know you have this experience before. I think it will better fit this paragraph than this experience you've written. So yeah, it's also very good to either see winning sample essays or you share with people. And another excellent thing is to also review your work. So if you don't have friends or senior colleagues or mentors or professors that could review your work, you could also consult companies that do these reviews for you. There are a lot of them out there actually. They are quite popular. You could go on YouTube, if you go on LinkedIn, you see a lot of them. And just as you know, the organizers of these webinars are Scholars Writing Up. They're also one of these people, so you could also get in touch with them. And for the interviews, I think it's also very nice for you to have mock interviews. If your Erasmus program would require you to have 2 more minutes, would require you to have interviews. It's also always very nice to practice and practice and practice. I remember in my own case, a lot of my friends, about 2 or 3 of my friends, were just giving me mock interviews. So we're just like practicing and practicing and practicing, so that by the time it was the day for me to do my interview, I was already used to talking in an my mental space was already in that interview mode, so to say. So it's always very nice to have mock interviews with people that would aid your preparation. And yeah, I think I mentioned this partly too. It's always very nice to be part of a community. That is extremely important. If you're part of a community, you're part of people that are applying to scholarships together. So that will like give you motivation to keep applying. If you are very close to your lecturers and professors, especially those ones with very good exposure, they're going to write quality reference letter for you, because your reference letters also count a lot in your application. So a professor that knows you really well, that knows your accomplishments, that knows that knows your qualification and then your expertise, would be able to like write very strong reference letters for you. And of course, if you have senior colleagues whom you admire their career trajectory and you want to also be like them, it's also very nice to have them in your corner. Those are people that would have a look at your essays and tell you that, oh, Abraham, I don't think your essay is well structured. I think you should delete this fourth paragraph and rewrite it all over again. Or I think you should put this experience that you told me you had. Or I think you should put this online course, something like that. So they're going to like tell you. And most times they're even going to like, they will serve as your referees in some cases. In some other cases, they could also review your document for you. So being part of the community is very helpful. I have just 1 more minute. Also reach out to previous awardees. And yeah, just in conclusion, build a strong profile for you even before you start applying for the Erasmus program. Find a course that aligns with your program and you can apply to those courses. Be part of the community and yeah, network with previous winners. And about the last thing I'll say now before I hand over the mic is that, because I've been talking for about 31 minutes now, for Erasmus programs, you can apply to as much master's programs as possible, right? So let me stop sharing my slides and probably go back here. So in this case, so when I applied, of course, I applied to just one. I applied to just this. I applied to just this. But you could actually apply for all these 4 programs. And I've had instances of people winning like 2 or 3 scholarships at the same time. But of course, you can only just choose one. But it's always better to apply to a lot of scholarships, win them, and have to select one out of these ones you win, than to just apply to one and limit your chances. So that's all what I have to present. And thank you all for your patience. And yeah. So just as I mentioned earlier, most of the Erasmus courses are taught in English. Not all, actually, because there are some like language Erasmus courses. So if you're going abroad to study French as an Erasmus master's program, definitely you're studying in French, but that aside. But for the programs that are taught in English, they need you to prove that you are able to speak English, right? And you can do this basically in 2 ways. You can either write a structured exam, which is the IELTS or the TOEFL, or you could have a letter of English proficiency. So there's, in all Nigerian universities, there's a structured way that the university would issue you a letter, and the letter would say that, oh, Abraham has been a student at this university for the past 6 years. In these 6 years, he was taught solely in English. He wrote all his exams in English, and we can ascertain that he has enough proficiency in English to undertake any course or any job or something. So that is the English proficiency letter. There's a particular term for it, I can't remember, but that's it. But here's the twist to it. There are some programs that will specifically tell you that you need a structured exam to prove your proficiency, which in the case of my master's program, that was what they requested for. So they did not want you to have a letter from the university proving that you are proficient in English. They wanted you to submit either a TOEFL or an IELTS English test. So it was very specific. And I knew people that did not submit that, they were just automatically thrown out. The applications were not, they didn't consider the application to move into the next stage for the interview. So it's always very, 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 very important to know if the course, the master's program you're applying to, if they want if they want just only English tests, like the IELTS or TOEFL, or if they want something else like the English letter of English proficiency from the university. So I hope that answers the question. And if Mr. Joseph has one or two things to add to it, it will also be very nice.
So for me, I'm actually an Erasmus Mundus Master Scholar in Intelligent Field Robotics. My program is a 2-year program. I did my first year in Spain, University of Girona, Spain. And currently I'm in Croatia. I'm in Zagreb, University of Zagreb, and I'm focusing on aerial robotics. So just a little about me. I have my bachelor's in mathematics, and currently I'm doing robotics. So those are pretty two different fields. So I finished my bachelor's in 2021 from University of Ilorin, and I started my master's in 2022. So you can see I'm clearly a fresh graduate, fresh from bachelor's to master's. And how did I switch fields? So I would like to just start my presentation from that place. I will not be sharing any slide. I'll just be having a conversation with you people, and I'll be answering some questions that I already have here. So when I was in my 3rd year in my bachelor's, I had a question in class one day, and I asked one of my professors in class, I asked him the question. I guess that was a pure mathematics class. There's a branch of mathematics called pure mathematics. So I was so frustrated that I was learning a lot of things and I didn't get to know the application of the things I was learning. And at that stage, I was frustrated of, cramming and pouring, cramming and pouring. I wanted to really get to know what is the application of the thing I'm currently learning. And funny enough, I didn't get a convincing answer in class that day. And that very day, I decided I've had a lot of mathematics and I'm not doing anymore. That was my 3rd year in my bachelor's. So during the COVID lockdown, I started doing research. Okay, where can all this knowledge that I've been gaining over the years, where can it be applied? And that's how I started researching into artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics. And I saw that mathematics is actually the foundation of all these AI wave, AI, machine learning, robotics. It boils down to mathematics. So if you're very good in math, you can actually shoot your shot in those areas. And then after that, I decided, okay, I would like to do this. I would like to go for a master's in these fields. What do I need to do to get to this particular, to get into this particular program? And part of what I started doing then was taking up necessary internship positions, just like Mr. Abraham rightly shared with you. I took up an internship position that is very closely related to artificial intelligence, and that helped to introduce me into the field, while at the same time I was learning how to code, learning software development, so that I can complement my degrees. One thing you have to know is that your bachelor's doesn't limit what you can do. I mean, after your first degree, maybe you wanted medicine and you got maybe agric. There is always an opportunity for you to switch fields. There's always an opportunity for you to do something totally different from where you're coming from. But you must be able to connect your experiences and your current skills with what you want to do in the next step. I mean, for example, if you are going to be applying for Erasmus program in robotics and you clearly don't have a first degree in robotics, you must be able to prove to the scholarship committee that I have the necessary requirements to actually survive in this program and to excel. So what I'm trying to say in that regard is, for example,